So would you have a trade package centered around the 5th pick in either Jaden Ivey or Jalen Duren and maybe a veteran for him? Would you be willing to offer one of the young guys, one or the other, a veteran and the 5th pick for Zach Lavine?
Probably not. Chicago, I mean, I feel so bad for them. Not Zach Lavine. Lonzo Ball might not be able to play basketball again.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I saw the news with his knee, because apparently he's going to have like a transplant in his knee because it's just awful. But getting back to your question, no, I would not trade for Zach Lavine. He's on an atrocious contract. Chicago gave him that contract, and they're going to have to stick with it. I'd much rather have Jaden Ivey and keep my 5th pick. I think that was your question. And that might kind of sound like I'm drinking the Pistons Kool-Aid, but I'm kind of looking at the long-term future. And I think Jaden Ivey can kind of be like a Zach Lavine type. I mean, he can be that combo guard that can get you 25 a night. So I'd much rather keep a Jaden Ivey on my basketball team. Nothing against Zach Lavine. I was actually really high on him, coming out of the draft when he did get drafted by Minnesota. I think he's a super talented player, but I just think the Pistons are in a different position right now. Like, if the Pistons were in a position to win more games, and maybe they're like a Zach Lavine away from a championship, sure, but they're not. Like, you have young assets that could turn into a Zach Lavine type.
Man, it would be hard for me to pass up. I don't think I would, even though we were just talking about overvaluing players. I probably wouldn't give up Jaden Ivey for Zach Lavine, but I would be tempted to give up Duren. Like, just because it's still a mystery about Duren. He has looked like a very good player in a Pistons uniform early on. He looks like he's going to be a guaranteed double-double machine. But I have been comparing him to Dwight Howard, and that's a huge hill to climb as well. I don't know if Jalen Duren is going to be that anchor defensively for the Pistons, which is what we need him to be in order for this team to win more games. We need him to be a lob threat. We need him to be a defensive anchor. That is what we need. But right now, he's not the best defender. We could say it's due to inexperience. We could say it's because, there were a lot of fouls going his way and he wanted to stay in the games, and maybe that's why he wasn't really trying to protect the rim. But I know I would be more tempted to give up Duren for Zach Lavine and have that three-headed monster, in the backcourt and on the perimeter with Cade Cunningham, Zach Lavine, and Jaden Ivey. Like, pick your poison. Who do you try to stop?
Hell no.
That's just me. I said I'd be tempted. I would be tempted. I didn't say I would do it. I said I'd be tempted.
Brother, we would give up 150 points a game if Zach Lavine was on this team.
Do you think so? How many points are we giving him now? 145?
Like 120. Like, I love Zach Lavine. The guy can score, but I'm not giving up Jalen Duren for freaking Zach Lavine. I'm not, man. Like, I'm not saying Duren's untouchable, but I wouldn't even consider that. Like, if a GM said, give us Duren and Ivey for Lavine, I'm hanging up that phone so fast. I'm blocking their number, too.
Well, I'm not saying give up both. I'm just saying if you had to pick one of the other to give up. I wouldn't give up Ivey. I'd be more tempted to give up Duren just because, again, he could very well just be a good offensive player and not the defensive anchor that we think he can be.
Bro, that's got like Josh Smith vibes written all over it, that type of like kind of move.
I don't know if it's that bad, but
yeah, he's a gifted scorer, but like I'm not giving up Duren for Lavine. Like, I'm good, man. Like, I got Cade on my team. I got Ivey on my team. Like, both of them could score the basketball. I'm good. Like, Zach Lavine's a great scorer. He can get you 25 to 30 on any given night, but he only plays one side of the basketball.
But that's the most important side. You got to score. Like, that's it. But so far, Duren, though, he's shown flashes of being a good defensive player, but he's still so far away from being the franchise defensive anchor. Like, like I said, it's a huge hill for him to still climb. He could very well be a 14-10 guy that doesn't give us much defensively. You can find that. I'm saying he could be. I'm just talking hypothetically. I don't believe that is Duren's ceiling. I believe Duren's going to be very, very good in this league. But I'm just saying right now, and from what I've seen, yeah, I'd be tempted by it.
I wouldn't even be tempted. Like, unless this was like a April 1st type of call, then no, dude. Like, I'm good, man. Like, I know, like, this is a Pistons podcast, and we do have people that aren't Pistons fans that do watch this, but like, no, God, no. Like, I think if you were to trade Duren, he would turn into a Dinwiddie and a Middleton situation all day. Because there's so much with Duren, which you saw flashes of his passing, you saw flashes of his mid-range jump shot. Like, he could turn into a center that could block shots, hit a mid-range, and you could just run the entire offense through him. Like, we haven't even seen what he could possibly do when he actually reaches his potential.
No, I mean, yeah, he very well could be, but I mean, he also couldn't be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think there's ever going to be I know some people compare him to Bam Adebayo. I don't see that. Like, I don't see him having that type of impact. I don't see him bringing up the floor like a point guard and making those type of passes. I feel like he might be able to make a few of those passes, but I don't think he's Bam Adebayo, and I don't think he's going to bring that type of skill set. Again, I just think that there's still so much that is unknown about Jalen Duren's game. We've seen some of it, and yeah, we like it, but there's, I mean, this guy, he could be anywhere from like a Tyson Chandler to a Dwight Howard to potentially even like a something of like a JaVale McGee, like just a rim running lob threat that blocks a few shots here and there. We don't know, but I mean, I feel like with the Zach Lavine's talent, and he hasn't got to play with a guy like Cade Cunningham or a Jaden Ivey, it could be a nasty trio between those three. I'm not saying I do the trade, but because there's still so much more unknown about Jalen Duren between him and Jaden Ivey, I would be willing to throw Jalen Duren into a trade to bring someone back. It doesn't necessarily have to be Zach Lavine. He just happens to be the guy that we're bringing up this week.
Man, I wouldn't even throw Hooper in a trade for Zach Lavine right now, man. That contract's atrocious.